Hi, it's Rachel. Welcome to this special episode of the Candid Comms podcast. You are about to hear the speech that I gave during my in-person book launch in London last week. I gathered my friends, family, comms friends, clients, book endorsers and expert view contributors for an evening together, which I invested in myself to give back to the wonderful world of internal communication. And it was a great opportunity to get together and celebrate the book. So I hope you enjoy listening in to this short episode to discover the conversation that we had on the night. Thank you to everybody who has purchased a copy of Successful Change Communication for yourself, for your team members, or for the people that you mentor. Signed copies can be found at allthingsic.com, or if you order directly from the publisher via koganpage.com, do use the code CandidComms to save you 25%. I'll include all of that information in the show notes at allthingsic.com/podcast in the show notes for this episode. If you have purchased the book, please do rate and review so other people can find it. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to hand over to myself at my book launch last week.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight to the launch of Successful Change Communication, how to inform, involve and inspire employees. My family, including my husband, my daughter, my brother, my sister-in-law and my nephews are in the room, as well as my wonderful team Teal, past and present, my mentees, my inner circle members, clients, endorsers, expert view contributors, comms friends and school friends. Come on, girls, we're from Essex. Thank you. Oi, oi. Thank you for being here to share this experience with me tonight. My Year 5 teacher, Mrs. Swanson, sparked my imagination and my love of writing. We have remained pen pals since that time, and 36 years later, we still regularly write letters to each other. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here this evening, but she sent me a congratulations card, and I know she's chuffed to bits to see my dream of writing books come true. You are surrounded by brilliant people tonight and friends you may not have met yet. I've invested in this evening myself as an opportunity to give back to this wonderful community and say thank you. I want to honour my parents, particularly my dad, who aren't here. No amount of change experience could have prepared us enough for the impact that dementia is having on my family, and I love you both. One of the silver linings in recent years has been the hours my brother and I spend together in his car, travelling to see Dad in his residential dementia care home. You can ask my brother whether it's a joy for him too, because he is here tonight. When I came to sat down to write Successful Change Communication for the first time, I froze. I knew that I would find it emotional to write about change, as I knew it would make me think of our dad. I needed the biggest pep talk of my life to give myself permission to start. So thank you to my brother and to my husband for providing solid ground when I felt uncertain at the start of this process. The only constant in our organisations is change. And the only constant from my work is that I will never sit still and I will never sit by if I feel like my thoughts and ideas could benefit organisations and the people that work within them. My decision when Kogan Page invited me to consider writing another book with them was to be brave. I rarely write about change communication on my blog or speak about it on my Candid Comms podcast. Often that's because it's so complex inside organisations that to create advice and guidance that feels suitable for all has felt overwhelming. I'm also under non-disclosure agreements for most of this type of work. However, having worked in this field for a long time, and particularly as an internal communication professional since 2003, I've learned a lot along the way. My vision for successful change communication was to write the book on change that I wish existed when I worked in-house. I have made many mistakes over the years, and I've learned a lot from them. Our roles are so visible inside organisations, and particularly as a consultant who's called in as a subject matter expert. My intention with the book is to provide a realistic view of communicating change and go beyond the theory with all the highs and the lows and everything else in between. The models and the frameworks that my team and I have used for years are now available for all to see. Inform, involve, and inspire is my mantra for internal communication. I look for evidence of immersive and thoughtful communication strategies whenever I'm advising clients or judging industry awards. Katie McCauley, who is here tonight and who I've not said hello to yet. Hi, Katie. Hello. Hi. She recently interviewed me for the Internal Comms podcast. In fact, our episode aired yesterday. During our conversation, Katie asked me about inspire and said, is it possible to inspire employees during times of change? My answer was yes, but it's not easy. It's a stretch target. But if we move from informing to involving to inspiring our employees and leaders during change, it sets our mindset on unlocking possibilities and potential. You will find many examples in the book and in this room of comms professionals who have made that happen inside their organisations. Thank you to my endorsers and to my expert review writers, many of whom are here tonight. Thank you for saying yes when I invited you to contribute. It's a joy to be able to highlight the stories and experiences I'm aware of through the medium of this book. There is something really magical about writing a book which unlocks permission to share previously unpublished and unknown work outside of your organisations. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for supporting and advising the practitioners who will benefit from your words of wisdom and your lived experiences. Change is hard. It's messy, it's emotional, and it impacts us all. Whether we're leading, managing, or experiencing change, the memories live far longer than the project itself. This work is not replaceable with AI. The emotional intelligence, the lived experience, and empathy is at the core of what makes us human. How we show up matters. How we advise our organisations matters, because how change is experienced is a visceral thing. Technology can support us, and I welcome exploring the possibilities that exist today and in the years ahead. Do not be threatened by AI, because it cannot replicate or understand what it feels like to experience the uncertainty, anxiety, excitement, or fear that's caused by change. We know this, we understand this, and through the publication of this book, it's a privilege to share those stories with a wider audience. The work of the people in this room impacts hundreds of thousands of employees around the globe. Every challenging conversation we have, every phrase that we argue against, and the removal of the word headcount to replace it with people matters. We work incredibly hard to coach, counsel, and correct leaders, companies, and decisions, and that work is never seen until now. The publication of this book lifts the lid on some extraordinary stories, brave decisions, and robust choices that have had a huge impact where it matters most, in the heads and the hearts of employees. I regularly see clients featured in the news and know the stories behind the headlines. The impact of confidential conversations that Dan and I have held behind closed doors or in private meetings with All Things IC's clients play out with the world watching. Being invited to advise organisations you've heard of on projects you usually won't hear about is a privilege that we take incredibly seriously. For every leader I have held to account, voices we've amplified, and strategies we've implemented, the outcome has been to improve the world of work for employees. So as we spend time together tonight, I encourage you to have fun, make new friends, connect with old ones, and enjoy informing, involving, and inspiring each other. We have a cake here, which I will cut in a moment. But before I do, I'd like to make a toast to the IC professionals in the room and who will hear this speech via my Candid Comms podcast. You are the hidden heroes inside organisations who impact the way that change is experienced by many, and your work matters. So let's make a toast to successful change communication.
As ever, I love hearing from you. Do keep in touch with me. You can find me, Rachel Miller, on LinkedIn, or check out the website, allthingsic.com, or why not send a note to hello@allthingsic.com. And remember, what happens inside is reflected outside. See you again soon.